It's been a hectic day. How you guys doing? How's everybody doing? Decided to do something a little different today and go live at night. Well, basically at night on the East Coast. It's about evening on the West Coast, but doing something a little different. What's up, Nadia? How you doing? Supposed to go on at 9. Had a little hiccup, traffic getting back home, but we're going to get started. Hi and welcome. I'm actually doing my 11th episode of the Cimifly Live, the Entrepreneur's Journey. And today we're talking about imposter syndrome. What's up, Nadia? How you doing? How you doing? Are you still in Florida, North Carolina? Where you at? Where you at? But yeah, we're talking about imposter syndrome today. Been away for about a month. Had a death in the family, but we're recovering. We're getting back to, I guess, what is the new normal. Cool. Hopefully it's not as hot in Florida as it is in the rest of the world, in the UK and all that. But yeah, we're getting back to a new normal, and decided to get back on track with my live. So today we're talking about imposter syndrome, which is this today's an interesting topic. So tune in, listen up, share, and all that good stuff. But let's get started real quick. So today's episode is brought to you by Royal Dynamite. It's my t-shirt line, and the premise about our t-shirt line is self-expression through fashion to facilitate change. Royal Dynamite believes that culture can drive change in communities around the world through fashion, collaboration, and creativity. Royal Dynamite uses our collective love of fashion to inform, educate, and inspire communities around the world. So check out our latest collection on royaldynamite.com. We have our summer collection, so definitely go ahead and check it out. Yeah, Nadia, no, it's pretty hot. Today it rained all day actually in Atlanta, so it was a little bizarre, but maybe it was much needed rain. But yeah. So anyway, what's up, Mo? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? So yeah, so today we're talking about imposter syndrome. So first, I wanted to get started with defining what imposter syndrome is, because a lot of people might actually suffer from it, but not know that's exactly what they're suffering from. So essentially, imposter syndrome, according to the dictionary, says the persistent inability to believe that one's successes is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own effort or skills. So you don't believe in yourself. You believe that you're a fraud. It says imposter phenomenon occurs among high achievers who are unable to internalize and accept their successes, often attributing their accomplishments to luck. So these people, and a lot of people go through that, because I think in life most of the people, at least in our circles, mingle and they interact with a lot of different people who have found success. And success is not this, it's not being rich, it's not being those kinds of things. I think if you graduate college, you graduate high school, that is a success in itself. What's up, Ralph? What's going on, bro? That is a success in itself. Anything you set out to accomplish that you actually do is a success. And many of us, because of imposter syndrome, do not believe we accomplish these things as a result of the hard work we put in. We think it is luck, and we see ourselves as frauds. And I think every so often this is something I myself suffer from. And Ralph and I can speak to this in the sense with our t-shirt brand, our clothing line, Royal Dynamite, where we have these, I always tell him, I said, we have these micro successes, but I think that's what life is about. People have constant micro successes, and we have failures as well. But in order to perfect success, or in order to perfect your achievements, you have to have a string of activities, and some of those activities are going to result in failure, but those failures are experiences. They shouldn't be seen as failure. And when you win and when you succeed, see that success as earned. See that success not as luck, which is what most people will attribute that to. So I'd like to read about three quotes. So normally I do this show where I always read quotes and kind of discuss them, and then we talk about a few things. So this one is from Sheryl Sandberg in her book Lean In, and she was the COO of Facebook, one of the biggest companies, technically the platform I'm on right now. What's up, Carl? So she said, every time I was called in on a class, I was sure that I was about to embarrass myself. Every time I took a test, I was sure that it had gone badly. And every time I didn't embarrass myself or even excelled, I believed that I had fooled everyone yet again. One day soon, the jig would be up. This phenomenon of capable people being plagued by self doubt has a name: the imposter syndrome. Both men and women are susceptible to imposter syndrome, but women tend to experience it more intensely, to be more and can be more limited by it. And it's true. I think in society, especially in the society that we live in, that's male dominated, um, we make the journey for men pretty easy. So for women, we tell them you have to work twice as hard. We say for every dollar a man earns, a woman earns like 80 cents or 83 cents. And with all these things that we do in society, we start making women believe that they're lesser of the two, in which I don't think they are. And they start to doubt themselves. And generally, us as human beings, we all doubt ourselves. And as a result, we feel that the hard work and things that we put in, we question ourselves and we start to think we're frauds. We start to think, maybe this is not me. Maybe I was lucky. Maybe something. You attribute every success or everything you've achieved to something else other than you actually doing what you believing that you made it happen. So that's an interesting one. Another one is relentless criticism in childhood can internalize a parental scorn that no amount of success will silence. Bruce Watson. And this doesn't just have to be with our parents. I think as we grow up, if we grow up in environments, and I think for me, growing up in a third world nation, growing up in Sierra Leone, growing up in a society that generally likes to criticize, generally, I mean, teachers being harsh on you, saying you're never going to amount to anything. Or, I mean, I've met friends who grew up in inner cities in America who have gone on to do amazing things and were told they couldn't get that scholarship to go to an Ivy League school. They shouldn't even try to get that scholarship to go to an Ivy League school and all that stuff. And when you're in these environments where continuously you're being criticized, you internalize this. I mean, you're talking about people from the age of 6 and onwards, because they normally say most people would have formed their personality or who they're going to become at about the age of 6 or 7. So we become more conscious. And as we become more conscious, if we're constantly told that this is who we are, this is who we're going to become, we're never going to become anything, we shouldn't aim for trying to go to Harvard, we shouldn't aim for trying to go to university, you should just try to graduate high school or try to graduate elementary school, that we internalize that information and we believe in it. And as a result of that, we sabotage our own success with anything that we do. And that's bad. And as we go on in life now, when opportunities present themselves for us to be great, we question and we doubt that greatness. So later on, we're going to talk about some ways to solve that. But that's the second one. And the third quote is, it is not what you are that holds you back. It's what you think you are not. Dennis Waitley. And I think if you're a doctor, lawyer, if you are a content creator, whatever you are, if you are an entrepreneur and all these things, that doesn't hold you back. Most people beat themselves up. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Honestly, sometimes I beat myself up about sorry. So one of my streams is telling me is having connection issues, but hopefully it gets fixed soon. Sorry about that. But at the end of the day, I think for me specifically, I would give a personal example where I think making the transition from a 9 to 5 to being a full-time entrepreneur, I do and still every so often suffer from intense imposter syndrome. And I have to talk to my wife about this all the time. And I have to talk to certain friends about this, wherein you start to feel, because in a 9 to 5, you're in this cushion, you're in this world where at the end of the day, you go to work, you do as best as you can. I mean, obviously, when you're sabotaged for promotions and things like that, you start to feel like that. Or when you get the promotion over maybe people you thought were more competent than you feel that way. But when you come into the world of entrepreneurship, it's lonely, and you have to create that environment for yourself where you remind yourself that you've succeeded, you remind yourself, or you are aware that you failed and you've learned to lesson from it, and you have to keep moving. And as a result of that, it's this constant two worlds that you're in where you're constantly saying I'm a failure, because maybe as you start, you're not making the kind of money you used to make, or you're building, and you have to be in that mindset that you're building something from scratch. It's like a newborn baby. A newborn baby doesn't wake up, or is not brought into the world today, talks, walks, and does everything from day one. I mean, it takes them time to get there. And entrepreneurship and running, or starting a business or side hustle or whatever, should be seen that way. And when you do get that success, you should not see it as it was luck. You shouldn't see it as you're a fraud or you made a mistake. You worked hard to get there. You put in the time and effort to get there. So I think, don't let what you think, because I think our thoughts hold us back sometimes. And when people get in their minds, we overthink things, and then we hold ourselves back to what we are capable and what we should become. So yes, as a word of encouragement, I would say this. I got this from, I think this was from, it says, never ever write off anything you've achieved as merely being lucky. You are not lucky. You are hardworking and capable. Don't ever question it. And Charlene Walters. And I think that's a word of encouragement for people to understand that, yes, you work hard. I mean, there's an element of luck, but there's that saying, opportunities where hard work and luck meet, and that type of stuff. So if you achieve something, I mean, and this is as minute as, if we go back to school, if you got an A on a test, it could be that you're smart, but 9 times out of 10, it's because you studied for the test. You had to put in work. You had to spend a lot of nights figuring things out. If you're an entrepreneur and you release something, or an ebook or your product, and it just blows off the shelf and you go viral. I mean, even as a content creator, if you go viral, it's simply because you've put in the work that nobody else wants to put. That word, when people say go the extra mile, the extra mile means everything. It's everything else. It's people don't understand what the extra mile means. It means you're willing to go an additional mile that nobody else is willing to go. And that extra mile is where your achievement, that's where your success really, really lies. So to be honest, don't ever put it off as, oh, I was lucky. Nah, you worked hard for it. You worked hard to get where you are. In sports, LeBron and them went the extra mile. All the kids trying to make it to college, all the kids trying to make it to the next level, the NBA, Europe, and all these things, it's because they worked hard for it. It's because their parents made sacrifices for them. It's because their families, their coaches, it's a community. Everybody made sacrifices for you to get there. None of it was luck. So yeah. Now, I think also Michelle Obama, she wrote in her most recent book, where kind of like, I think in order for people not to feel this imposter syndrome so much, we kind of have to say positive things to ourselves, everything. I mean, positive affirmations. It says she learned to say to herself, when she asks herself the question, am I good enough? And she says, yes, in fact, I am. And I think these are the kinds of things you have to ask yourself, and you have to remind yourself that you're good enough, because just as much as you have to remind yourself that you're good enough with these things, this is precisely what the mind does. As the mind reminds us that we're not good enough, the mind plays tricks. The mind says, you're not good at doing this. And if you tell yourself you're not good at doing something, the mind will keep reminding you that you're not good at doing these things. So I think in order for people to figure out how to get over imposter syndrome, it's important for you to know that you're not alone. So I'm part of a book club, and this past weekend we were kind of just saying things that we need to get better at. And one of the interesting things, it's like procrastination. Sometimes I always say I'm a procrastinator. I admit it, and I'm trying to find ways to not be, and try to find ways to be more efficient. But I give specific examples about maybe that email you should send, and if you send that email, it basically creates a chain effect of something that's going to lead to success. So you become afraid of sending that email, or you procrastinate in sending that email. And then you say that out loud, and you think you're alone with your actions and your thoughts. And then 5 other people say, oh my God, I do the same thing. So understand and know that you're not alone in this journey. You're not unique. You're not special with these kinds of things. And secondly, I think stop making excuses. period. In life, it is so easy to make an excuse. You want to get to the next level. I mean, Ralph, you already know that. We know these things. If you want to do something, and some of these things are very minute tasks. One plus one makes two. 1 + 1 is not 3. So first figure out 1 + 1 makes 2. You don't make an excuse. Get it done. If somebody asks you a question and you have the answer, give it to them. If there's a task that needs to get it, and I'm saying this not because I'm perfect at this stuff. I struggle with this stuff. I've told you guys I'm a procrastinator. So sometimes it's a simple task as just sending over an email, sending a text message to someone, and just answering and getting things done. And you would say, oh, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Oh, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then a week goes by and a month goes by and you don't do it and you feel like a failure. Yes, you're going to feel like a failure. But if you stop making excuses and just make time and prioritize things, there's many ways to prioritize. Use your calendar on your phone. So for me, everything has to go now on my calendar. To pick up my son when the stock market opens, to drop him off at daycare when he has to go to speech therapy. Everything goes up and pops up on my calendar. The address where his therapy is, the address for his daycare is saved in my phone. My friends' birthdays, my friends' kids' birthdays, I save those in my calendar in my phone. So it pops up so I don't have to remember these things. Most people would say it's lazy. It's not. It's prioritizing and making time. And because these things are important to me, I put them on a calendar. So the next thing is, I think we all have to accept that failure is a part of the process. In order for anyone to get better, you need to practice. And most of us don't want to fail. For me, that's one of my biggest limiting factors. And that's why I always think of myself sometimes as not accomplishing the things that I want to do, is because I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of, with RD, we've accomplished a lot as a clothing brand. One of the things Ralph and I always discuss is we've never employed massive guerrilla marketing. And in today's world, guerrilla marketing would literally be something like influencer marketing, where we're reaching out to people who have an influence. I mean, because if you're going to live in the world of fashion, entertainment, and sports and things like that, you need to use influence to propel you to that next level. So I think I always come up with the ideas, I think we should do this. We should reach out to these people. And these people are human beings. Yes, they might have a massive platform and I shouldn't have to be afraid of it. But sometimes it clouds my judgment. I become afraid. I'm like, what if I reach out to them and they say no? Because I am afraid of the failing part. But the truth is, not everybody's going to say yes. I worked in sales, which is interesting. My first job was in sales. My first couple jobs actually were in sales, and I think it helped. But sales is not, it's like sales is the same as sports. It's not about it. You have to take the shots. If you don't take the shots, you don't make them. And you cannot be worried about the shots you missed. So if LeBron scores 60 points in a game, LeBron didn't make 30 baskets or 15 baskets or whatever the case, that he went 16 for 42 and scored 60 points. But SportsCenter says LeBron scored 60 points and everybody goes, oh my God. But nobody's focusing on all the shots he missed. We're focusing on the shots he made. The highlights show what he made. So we're conditioned to think of that as greatness. So it's the same. It applies to the same way in life. If you're a salesperson and if you want to get to influencers and all these things, you have to reach out. You have to play the law of average, the numbers game, and understand that maybe for every 100 people you reach out to, only 20 are going to say yes. But those 20 that say yes can change your life. And you have to be willing to fail. It is part of the process. But as you're pushing to not say pushing to fail, but as you're pushing to succeed and you're failing, you are learning. You're learning something and you're getting valuable experience from repetition, and it becomes second nature. The brain is a muscle, just like anything else. You train any muscle, chest, arms, whatever, it becomes bigger, it becomes better. It's the same thing. The brain is a muscle, and if you want to acquire skills, you have to continuously learn how to train yourself. So I think these are just some ways that for people who suffer from imposter syndrome, they have to make positive affirmations. Tell yourself you're great. Tell yourself you're good every morning. It's important for you to know you're not alone in your journey. seek people who are similar to you. Go on the internet is a great place. Facebook has all these groups and whatever. Be in rooms that are positive. Be around people that are positive. Go to networking events that are positive. Stop making excuses. Make time, prioritize. Accept that failure is a part of the process, and in order for you to get better, you have to practice. So once you do these things, I think you will slowly help yourself in the process. And to close this all out, 'cause don't want to take too much of your time. I think this is a topic that we can go on and on. And I think I want to talk about this topic again with other people. So I'm probably going to put together like a panel of maybe 3 people where we talk about this and we get it from other people's perspective and how they feel about these things. So anybody who wants to be a part of it, hit me up on my DMs, but show up, be yourself, and be unapologetically you. I think it's important for us to walk into spaces and be ourselves. If you're a geek, show up as a geek. If you are cool, show up as cool. If you are shy, show up as shy and let people know. And believe it or not, people will open up to you, and people are out there that are kind to make you feel good about yourself. The people that don't want to do that, forget them. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a part of life. We're going to have to go through that failure, the transition, the challenges, but just be you. Be kind to yourself. Let go of your ability to be perfect. No one is going to be perfect. Guard your thoughts. Negative thoughts are destructive. They're very, very destructive. And as soon as you notice you're thinking negative thoughts, switch it, stop it. Change your environment. So if I'm in this room and my negative thoughts are consuming me, I'm going to open the door and I'm going to go outside and I'm going to change my environment. It's going to be hot. I'm going to think about something completely different and get distracted. So be kind to yourself. Let go of your ability to want to be perfect. Guard your thoughts and don't think negative thoughts, and just show up and be yourself. It's not none of what I've just said is going to be easily accomplished, but I think it takes practice. And find your community. The most important thing, I think, is surround yourself around people who are going to help you get to where you need to get to. And only then are you going to be able to accomplish the things you need to accomplish. So for everybody that showed up, really appreciate you guys. I always say this, like, you guys give me life, you guys give me purpose, and you guys help me do these things. And as we spread the word and make sure we all learn from each other, my goal is to give value. My goal is to help. My goal is to make sure reach one, teach one, affect somebody else's life. I always tell my close friends whenever we do things and they say, thanks, bro, I say we all we got. We have to take care of each other. So whatever information, just yesterday, Ralph was sending me stuff about intellectual property, and he was saying every human being has an intellectual property. What you've gathered, your experiences are your intellectual property. So at the end of the day, if we have learned something, whether it's by mistake, through failure, or a success, if we can share it within our communities, we get better. So thank you guys very much. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys go ahead and share this stuff to anybody who needs to listen to this, and appreciate it. We'll be back maybe next week or in 2 weeks. Maybe I think I'm doing another one next week. Not too sure, but I'll keep you guys posted. I'll send out a short video to let you guys know when I'm doing this. So appreciate everybody who shows up. Thank you guys very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you.